is rebuild time yet again, and today we are taking our talents to Sweden to rebuild Ifk Goteborg. I believe I butchered that, but let me know what my Swedish is like down in that comment section. If we take a look at the club in game, this is the reason we are rebuilding this team. They are 18-time winners of the Swedish top division, and they are also a 2-time Europa League winner as well. So they definitely have had a very good time of it, and they haven't won the title in Sweden since 2007, as you can see here. They had a very nice long run of it in the 80s and 90s and winning a lot of titles. But yeah, then a long drought from 96 to 2007, and then an even longer drought from 2007 through to now. As I mentioned, they did win the Europa League twice, 1982 and 1987, so this team definitely qualifies as rebuild worthy. If we take a look at the club, you can see here they have a nice stadium up in Sweden. They do have Marcus Berg. He is their key player and captain, in my opinion. He looks very good despite being 35 years of age. He is still a star in the league. He likes his big matches. He's consistent, and he's got 90 appearances for his country as well. Looking really tasty. I'm really looking forward to this one because I really think it will be quite an interesting rebuild. If we go into the tactic, this is what we are going to be playing. We are going to be playing the GYR Bane tactic. I haven't actually used this one on the most recent match engine yet, so we will try it and see how we do get on. This is the team though. There's a couple of players to pull out of note. Dahlberg, the goalkeeper, 2 caps for the international team, is pretty solid actually. Looking forward to keeping hold of him as much as humanly possible. Obviously, we've touched on Marcus Berg here, and also reckon this guy here, Gustav Svensson, quite a good player. Again, on the older side, but a good player nonetheless in his second spell with the club. So we've got an interesting team here to try and push things on, and you will probably notice that the season starts on the 2nd of April, and yes, it runs in a very weird time for us English people. It runs at a very weird time of the season. It runs from April, the season, all the way through to November. So qualifying for European competitions and stuff like that could be a little bit tricky should we get there. If we go into the competitions tab, we just have the league to worry about right now. I believe the cup comes in a little bit later in the cycle. But if we take a look at the league, obviously we've got the likes of Hacken that we'll be fighting out with. Elfsborg and also Malmö are probably the big team names that most people would have heard of coming out of Sweden. And if we take a look at the season preview, we are predicted to finish in 6th, guys. Yes, we are predicted to finish all the way down in 6th in this first season. I'd like to be challenging a little bit at the top if we possibly can. Berg makes it into the Media Dream 11, but he is the only player of ours to make it in there, which is going to be very interesting to see how we do get on. If we have a look at the club vision, they want us to record a top half finish according to the board. So we're going to have a good go in season number 1 and see what success we can bring to this Swedish club. Okay guys, so season 1 is in the books and we haven't won the title just yet. We are just a couple points shy in our first season, but we have finished in 2nd, which does mean we qualify for the Europa Conference League. IF Elfsborg top the table. They did win 1 more point than us throughout the course of the season. Our goal difference was better, but they definitely deserved the title towards the end of the season. We had a couple of faltering points in the last couple games. Could have got the job done. Losses to Hammarby. We even beat Elfsborg as well towards the end of the season, but draws with Malmö and IFK Vranmo. Yes, let's say that. Caused us to not win the title. We've had a couple good months here. We also had a very impressive 13-0 victory in the cup. Obviously, we kind of went off in the cup, didn't we? But it is only the 2nd round, so there's still a long way to go in that. That will be part of actual next season's campaign because we are at the end of season number 1 already. Obviously, with the season ending in November, it's very interesting to see. If we take a look, we are the 8th best in terms of goals conceded, so that is the area where we really need to improve. If we take a look at the player stats, Marcus Berg, he is an absolute legend. I cannot speak highly enough for a man who is this old. He says this man's like 4 years older than me. Still absolutely pulling his weight. As you can see, he's our top goal scorer, our highest average rating, most assists as well, most player of the matches, and he's just still exceptional. He's retired from international football now, which means he's going to still be just our player. He's wanted by Lorient over in France. I don't want to let him go anywhere. If he's still scoring despite his age, I don't want to get rid of him. He's just good. He's just good, and he scores goals in this division. So maybe if we can kind of keep hold of him and maybe strengthen and tighten up in our defense, I think we could be okay, you know. And then, as I mentioned in the competitions, we have qualified for the Conference League, it would look like, which I assume we will have to go through the qualifying path to play in, so that's going to be very interesting to see how we do. We do have a little bit of cash to spend, just over 600k in terms of transfer budget, and then that wage budget is giving us about 8 grand, 6 to 8 grand in wages as well. But if we have a look at the squad, guys, and we arrange things by wages, that's two good players at this level, plus anybody else I can maybe get my hands on. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go through the summer transfer window. It's basically over Christmas. Maybe we can pick up some transfer listed players in the January and strengthen for season number 2. Let's see what we can do. So, guys, this is the transfer screen going into season number 2. We are at the 11th of February, just because if we go into the schedule, you can see we've got 3 cup games here. Group 5 we are in. We got 3 cup games, so I wanted to come back before the cup games to see what happened here. We are the heavy favourites for all of these, which you kind of would expect. But in terms of players signing, I've brought in nobody. I've lost nobody as well, which is really, really nice to see. So I'm hoping we can kind of push on from last season's 2nd place finish and really push on and maybe win the title. Obviously, we do have these, it looks like the Swedish Cup goes into a group and then you have knockout stages after that. So we're going to have to see how we do get on there. The league starts in 48 days. But if we go into the season preview and we take a look at how we're supposed to get on, we are predicted to finish in 6th again, 16-1. But of course, we do have the Europa Conference League, which is going to be really interesting. Obviously, Elfsborg are in the Champions League, and having won the league last season, I find themselves predicted to finish in 7th. Is that Umar Sadiq? No, it's not. Oof, man, I was getting worried there. If that was Umar Sadiq, the guy from the Spanish league, that would have been a problem in this division. I can absolutely guarantee it. What we're going to do, guys, is because not a lot has happened really at this point, we're just going to kind of push on. The board want us to finish in the top half for season number 2. So let's just get to simulating and see what we can do in season number 2. Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk to you about transfers because at the end of the regular season in the rest of Europe, I was able to bring in some players, and boy, do I have some names for you here. We managed to make a little bit of cash as well. We sold this guy, Elias Hagen, over to Juve for a decent, pretty penny. He's a good player, but obviously when the big boys out of Europe come knocking, you kind of have to sell some of these types of players. So he went to Juventus for £3.5 million. That's kind of a majority of that money. The rest of it was two small transfers and a loan. But look at the players who we have managed to bring in, guys. Obviously, I didn't go crazy in terms of the money that we've spent, but I now have assembled the oldest strike force in Sweden. We've got Marcus Berg, who is 37, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who is now 42 years of age. Yes, I don't understand why Zlatan's arrived here, because if we go into his career history, obviously he started himself out at Malmö, and he's now back in Sweden playing for a different team. So fair play to him. We've also picked up Joe Ward. Oops, that's his crossing attribute. There we go. We picked up Joe Ward. He is a former Peterborough player. Obviously, he bounced around a couple different clubs in England, but his contract was expiring. And this formation's got defensive wingers, guys. So I feel like he can be a very good defensive winger for us in this particular shape. 28 years of age. Definitely not a player I would have signed before. Same with Zlatan, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, a good player for this particular tactic. Jamie Roche comes in as well from IK Sirius. Looks like a supremely well-rounded player, high potential as well. He's a star player within the division, 6'3", nice well-rounded central midfielder. Looks like a very promising prospect coming in from another club in Sweden. We've also signed this guy as well, Ludvig Navik is how I'm going to pronounce this guy's name. He's come in, he's our new number 7, much the same, playing central midfield, 5-star potential guy to be a squad player for us and really improve us in that particular space. Victor Eriksson, again, we kind of signed another Swedish centre-back, 23 years of age, this guy. He comes in on a dirt cheap deal, 850k. Navik was 700k, and Jamie Roche was to 1.5k. And then we picked up 2 free transfers as well. Antonin Benede is how I'm going to butcher this guy's name as well. Young Frenchman, 24 years of age, former PSG youth product, has been at RB Salzburg and another team in Switzerland, and he got released, so we picked him up on a free transfer as well. Very well rounded. I think he could be a great central attacking midfielder for us. And then Tom Lockyer. The Luton Town captain was released, and I worked with Locks when I was at Bristol Rovers when he was the captain there, so I had to pick him up on a free transfer. He looks really good for this level. A bit on the slow side. I think they're undervaluing you here a bit, Locks, but looks very good. Looking forward to welcoming him into this squad. But obviously they came in the middle of the season, so we have to talk about the competitions, and of course the competition that we are all interested in. We won the league, guys. We got the league title, 68 points for the boys. Marcus Berg continues to go off and score a lot of goals. He got 23 goals and 11 assists in all comps, which is great to see. Him and Zlatan pulling the strings up top. The oldest strike force in history, I'm going to call it. The Europa Conference League, I will be honest, guys, did not go very well. We got knocked out in the third qualifying path by Genk from Belgium. They are a good team. They just kind of bested us over the legs. I can't even go back and see how things got on in that round, which is really, really annoying. If we go into take a look at things as well, we got ourselves all the way to the Swedish Cup final. So I said about those 3 group games, we have the quarterfinal and the semi-final in this like pre-season area, and then we got ourselves all the way to the final to lose 2-0. Rather disappointing performance from the boys. Elfsborg were the much better team, and they did go on to lift that trophy 2-0. Luc Leroux and Mikel Biadu with the 2 goals there for Elfsborg, who conclusively played us off the pitch, to be perfectly honest, and they go on to win the Swedish Cup. As I mentioned in our qualifying rounds for the Europa Conference League, we had HJK beat them first, then we took on Genk, and yeah, Genk were too strong for us. 0-0 on the first leg at home, and then we lost 3-2 on the road in Belgium, which is really disappointing, but by winning the league, that means we have an opportunity to qualify for the Champions League next season. We've already played our second round game of the Cup again, in which we won 6-0. So I'm happy with how things have gone in season number 2. Obviously, we do have the oldest strike force known to mankind here, and we've had a little new gen come through. David Helm looks quite good, 15 pace as well. Nice flair, nice off the ball. He's all got 4.5 star potential, so I'm going to try and play him as much as I possibly can. Our best 11, it basically has been this. Where's Mr. Berg? Why can I not see him? Marcus Berg. These 2 boys have been playing up top, as I mentioned. 34 goals between the 2 of them, and they are a combined, what's Zlatan, 42? 42 plus 37. Wow, they are a combined age. I can't do maths. 40, 50, 60, 70. They are a combined age of 79 as my strike force. I like it. I like it a lot. Obviously, we have qualified for the Champions League for season number 3. So if we take a look at our budget, we've got loads of money. We got £2.6 million in terms of transfer budget here, and we've got a lot in terms of wage budget as well, almost 40k. But obviously, being in the Champions League is going to help leaps and bounds, guys. So we're going to get through season number 3, get through that transfer window, and see what we can do for season number 3. Okay, guys, so transfer update for season number 3. It's actually been a profitable transfer window for us. As you can see on screen, £4.8 million we've been able to recoup in players in. Some of the European clubs did come calling, and we've had to go out and strengthen as much as we can elsewhere. So let's talk about some of the major money that has gone out. John Bangsbo has gone to Freiburg. He has left the club for £2 million. Pontus Dahlberg has gone to Sheffield United, the goalkeeper, who I was kind of worried about holding on to. He has gone to England as well, which is really disappointing for us. £1.9 million for him. And Sebastian Hausner has gone to RB Leipzig for 900k. He wasn't really playing for us too much, so I wasn't overly worried about him. The goalkeeper, however, is a huge loss. As things stand, we are trying our best to replace everybody. We've picked up Ralph Priso from a free transfer. He came in from Canada. He looks okay. Nothing exceptional about him, but he does have a 4.5 star potential, so could grow into a decent little player if we were to give him the game time. Nastasic, a player you guys might remember, he is 31 years of age now. He comes in to be our new centre back. He is a 4-star current ability player, even though he's 31. He comes in from Mallorca for 600k. So another player coming in from Spain is our goalkeeper replacement. It is Christian Rivero. Again, not a player that I've signed previously, but he comes in 3.5-star player, current ability, looks pretty good, nice command of his area and communication and stuff like that. Looks like an okay replacement. It's not as good. He's not as good. It's not like for like, but I think he can go on to have a good time up in Sweden. Kasim Adams joins for 220k as well. Massive jump in reach, 6'3", 16 jump in reach as well. Yeah, 13 heading. I'm hoping this guy can be a bit of a set piece threat for us up in Sweden. Kevin Ndoram comes in from Burnley for 600k. He's our new defensive midfielder, guys. He looks quite good going into the season. Nice teamwork as well. It's really nice to see. And Leo Cittadini is a free transfer. He's a Brazilian nonetheless, coming over to Sweden. I'm just going to click onto his profile as he's the last one. He comes in from Sweden to be our new central attacking midfielder. Yes, okay, he's 30 years of age, but ultimately, Marcus Berger's confirmed age does not matter in this game if you are still good enough. So if we go into the tactic and quick pick without restriction, our best 11, this is how the boys are looking going into season number 3. Zlatan is still there. He is retiring at the end of this year, so I want him to go out on an absolute bang. He's only got 5 pace and 3 acceleration, but I just don't care. He's still very, very good. And I think he can still put in a good shift this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does get on. But this is how the team's looking now, a little bit different from how we started. Now, Stasic and Adams, I'm really happy with these two as a central defensive midfield partnership. And Doram is in front, looks nice as well. I think we're the strongest team in Sweden by quite a way. Obviously, we haven't started the Champions League campaign yet because it's still at the end of the regular season in Europe. But we have made our way all the way through to the final. I've advanced through this section here because it was in pre-season. We got our way through to that final where we got there in the semi-finals on penalties. Luckily, just about got there. But we will play Elfsborg in that final again later on in the season, and obviously we will have the Champions League to deal with. The board wants us to finish inside the top 2 this season, and if we have a look at the season preview, we are predicted to come in second, actually. Malmö are the favourites. It seems like it fluctuates who's the favourite in this division quite a lot. I guess it's based upon if you keep hold of your good players or not. We've got Adam Cittadini and Abdullah in the Media Dream 11 as well. Abdullah is another striker for us. He's quite good, actually, but he's not Zlatan, is he? So maybe he'll play once Zlatan retires, or play a bit more once Zlatan retires, or at least he'll start coming on for Zlatan, because there's no way he can play a full season. So we will simulate season number 3, and hopefully we can hold on to our Swedish League title, and maybe we don't disgrace ourselves in the league either. So season 3 is done and dusted, and we've done ourselves proud yet again in Sweden. We have topped the league on goal difference. Both of us, ourselves and IF Elfsborg, finished on 72 points, but we get the job done on goal difference. We only lost 2 games all season, which I'm pretty happy with. 2 away games, lost them 2-0. But other than that, guys, we have absolutely smashed it. Marcus Berg continues top goal scorer in the division. He absolutely crushed it, guys. He's so old now. He is 38 years of age. Obviously, Zlatan's retiring, so we're sending him off with a bang. Obviously, he can finish on another Swedish championship. Maybe we can try and bring him back as a coach. But as you can see, highest average rating, still Zlatan. 11 goals for the boy in a season where he's 43 years of age. I mean, it's very impressive, isn't it? It is very, very impressive. If we take a look at some of the other stuff, guys, we have had some transfers. We have had some improvements. I will talk about them. First of all, we signed Keaton Parks. Obviously, he is an American, New York City FC. Looks like they weren't able to keep hold of him. He comes in as a star player for us. 3.5-star current ability. Really playing at the top of his game already. Started 14 times for us since he joined us in July. We also signed this guy as well. He's a bit of a legend in the Versailles save, Sufnat Minyanta. He comes in, Thailand international. Yes, he is a Thai international. I think he can absolutely annihilate this division and basically replace Zlatan as my striker. £1 million for his services coming in. Obviously, that Champions League money has hit us real nice. We've sold a couple of other players as well. My guy Tom Lockyer wanted more football, so I've let him go out on loan, so he is out playing on loan. But ultimately, the team has done really well. Obviously, let's talk about the Champions League, because we've managed to qualify for the knockout stage, for the league campaign, and we're actually doing quite well. We knocked out Bodo Glimt in the first round, the second qualifying round. We beat them 3-0 at home and then lost 1-0 away from home. We then took out Olympiacos 6-0 on aggregate, which is a very impressive response. And then Trabzonspor, we beat them 6-3 away, drew 1-1 at home, didn't really matter. And we enter into the league phase, where so far we've just lost to Young Boys 3-2, and we've beaten RB Salzburg 4-3, and we've even beaten Manchester bloody United at home 3-2. Sufna has absolutely smashed it. They've signed Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but we get the goal, we get the winner after Lisandro Martinez gets himself sent off. But Man United definitely deserved to win the game, but they didn't. So we are in a good spot. If we go into the competitions tab, you can kind of see here, we're lurking in and around that automatic spot for the knockouts, which will be ludicrous. If we can finish anywhere between 9th and 24th, to be perfectly honest with you, I would definitely take it. If we go into the schedule, we've got games against Roma, Real Betis, and Copenhagen coming up. So we'll have to see how that goes next season, because obviously where the seasons fall again. If we go into the finances though, Champions League money is here, ladies and gentlemen. 14.5 million. That is a joke. That is a joke. That is a ludicrous amount of money for this league, because if I go into here and we go into the team detailed and we scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can see salary per annum, we are going to be catching Malmö in no time. So that's going to be the goal, to be the best and the richest team in the division by consistently performing in the league. If we go and take a look at the Swedish Cup though as well, because we were in that one as well, we did go on to win the final this time around. We got our own back on IF Elfsborg, and we win that one 2-0. Kasim Adams and Marcus Berg with the goals, seeing us lift a league and cup double. Wow, absolutely smashed it in this season. Let's go see what season number 4 has to bring. 14 million is a lot to spend in Sweden, because I couldn't do it. I genuinely tried to spend a lot of money to improve this team, and I could not do it. We sent a player out for £1.3 million. Adam Carlin has departed the club. He's gone over to play in France. He wasn't getting as much minutes as he would have wanted, so he has gonzo. We have replaced with a couple of different players though. Kasper Vidal comes in from RB Leipzig, the Swedish youngster, 21 years of age, 6'3" as a centre-back, 17 jumping reach. We like those. He is big in the air, and I want him to be big in the air. That's basically what he's come in as, and also being Swedish helps with the homegrown abilities. Felix Wanther comes in as well. Looks like another player again to play as that defensive winger on the right hand side. It's kind of what I'm looking for. Someone who can get up and down as well as tackle is kind of key for that particular position. Mikkel is, I'm not even, Kelliso is how I'm going to butcher this guy's name for sure. He can play anywhere, up and down the right and the left. Captain versatile, but he's also 6'4". Is exactly what we're looking for in some of these positions. Now I'm really excited about this, guys, so you guys are going to have to tell me, Norwegians, in the comments section down below. Elias Arflot, he looks very good, and I've never picked him up before. Looks superb as a forward. Could do with a little bit of development, but he looks very, very good. So Norwegians out there, you're going to have to let me know. I paid £1.9 million for him. It seems like a good deal. Seems like a good player. Now we have a very different strike force up top. If we go and quick pick without restriction, this is how the boys are looking. And we're looking strong, boys. We are looking strong. Arflot and Mignata as the two strikers. Big W's for those. I think they can go on and be absolutely superb. If we take a look at stuff, we are actually out to the cup. We didn't qualify for the cup. We did not retain for sure because we lost this game. We lost 1-0 at home, which is really disappointing. But I kind of want to continue our dominance in the Swedish league, which if we take a look and say, have a look at the season preview, we are now the favourites to win the division. So obviously that Champions League money has hit us real nice. We've got 2 players in the Media Dream 11 as well, which is fantastic to see. But yes, things have gone really, really well there. If we go and take a look at the league phase of the Champions League, we didn't get anywhere out of the league phase. Ultimately, we finished in 25th, which isn't an embarrassment. We also got the second top goal scorer in the competition, just behind Mbappe. Bearing in mind it's at the quarterfinal stages and we haven't played for the last 2 rounds. So I think we've done pretty well here. We finished above teams like Real Betis, Sociedad, Porto, Celtic, Red Star, Ludogorets, PSV, Anderlecht, Benfica. Like, I think we've not disgraced ourselves there. Hopefully we can continue, obviously, after winning the league last season, and have a good run in season number 4, and maybe finish a little bit higher in the league phase, maybe get a knockout game. That would be fantastic to see if we could do that as well. Let's simulate season 4, guys, and let's talk about the mid-season transfers that I'm able to pick up. So there's a couple of transfers that I need to update you on, the mid-season transfers that have come in for us this time around. We've signed Jonathan Levy. He comes in. Looks like a very nice player from Puskas Academia in Hungary. Looks like a good player for us. He's got 1 cap for Sweden. Can play on both the right and the left-hand side. He's accomplished at the midfield spots, which is exactly where I need him to be. I'd like him to have a little bit higher tackling, but a good player to come in nonetheless there. If we take a look at this other player that I've signed, it is a goalkeeper, guys. Magnus Smelhus Nope, not saying it. He comes in to be a goalkeeper for us. 15 positioning, high reflexes, high aerial reach. I think he could be, he only wanted to come in as a backup as well, to be honest. 23 years of age, £2.5 million for him. Yes, please, we'll have him in. We'll have him as a backup, I think, at the very least. At least that's what he wants from his squad rating. So we're happy with that. If we go and take a look actually at the competitions tab, you can see, guys, we finished top of the league again. 67 points. It is what it is, guys. I think we are going to go on to dominate the league. Obviously, that Champions League revenue, if we go and have a look at the team detailed again, and that salary per annum, we're still not actually caught up with Malmö, who have been really disappointing in this particular instance. But we topped the league. They finished in second. 67 points for us. We had the top 2 goal scorers in the league. Elias absolutely popping off. 29 goals and 12 assists in all competitions. Now wanted by Wolfsburg, Monza, Lorient and Rennes. So going to be interesting to see if we can keep hold of him. But we have now three-peated the Swedish league. Yes, we are the best team in Sweden yet again. And now let's talk Champions League, guys, because as you can see, we are currently in 4th after 6 games of the Champions League. Yes, we are in 4th. Absolutely ludicrous. We've qualified for the playoffs alongside Man City, Bayern Munich and Porto. Yes, Man City, Bayern Munich and Porto. Obviously not being in the Swedish Cup, maybe that did help things, I don't know. If we go into the Champions League though, they were the last 2 fixtures last season, so obviously you saw we lost to Bayern and drew with Dortmund, which saw us exit the league phase. This time around we had to qualify yet again. We took on this team, who I have no idea who they are. They're from Armenia. We managed to absolutely pump them. After losing the away leg, we won 6-1 at home. Then we took on Shakhtar, a team from Belarus. Beat them 10-1 on aggregate. Then we took on Shakhtar Donetsk, and we actually struggled in this one, to be honest. We lost the game 1-0 away from home, but then we beat them 3-0 at home. Seems like it's a little bit of a fortress up in Sweden. And then obviously the games that we played in the Champions League so far, we've beaten Anderlecht, we've beaten Rangers, we've beaten bloody Barcelona. Like, I'm going to show you this game. It looks absolutely crazy here. Barcelona probably deserved to edge it, but we're in the game. We're very much in the game. I'm really happy with these sorts of results. We then draw with Leipzig and then lose to Galatasaray and then beat Celtic. So we still do have fixtures to come. We've got Man City and Roma in the Champions League, but we've qualified for a playoff place. So there's going to be knockout football in the Champions League coming to Sweden, which I could not be happier about. I will say our work in the European competitions was really helping propel the Swedish league up. We have gone from 24th up to 21st. Hopefully we can continue to improve that, because we're still classed as worse than the Sky Bet Championship as things stand. We're going to have one more season where hopefully we can do another league and cup double and maybe get a nice knockout round in the Champions League. So guys, before we get into season number 5, this is the point of the rebuild where I ask you to comment something down below if you are still watching this video at this point, and it's going to be simple today. I just want to hear Zlatan is a legend. Pretty simple. He is a legend. Obviously Malmö legend, but now in this particular instance he's a legend for 2 clubs in Sweden. So let's see what we can do in this 5th and final season, because I have spent some cash, boys. The money going out of Sweden in this particular instance is absolutely crazy. Ludwig Navik, the player who we did sign, he's another player who's gone out. He has gone out to Hertha Berlin. Never really hit the ground running for us. We bought him for 725k, sold him for $1 million. He just didn't really cut it. With some of the foreign players that we did have in the team, he just wasn't breaking into it, which is really disappointing, but ultimately we can kind of see what we can do and let him move on somewhere else. So let's talk about some of the players that have come in. Marcus Solbakken comes in. He's a defence midfielder for us on a free transfer. Supremely well-rounded Norwegian youth international. He's 25 now. Hasn't been capped for the main national team, but obviously he's trying to get in past players like Martin Odegaard, so I kind of understand why. He came in on a free transfer. Sergio Akeme comes in from Leeds United to be a fullback for us on that left-hand side, can play up that left-hand side. He's quick as well, guys. 15 acceleration, 15 pace. I think he could be a nice little addition to us on that left-hand side. Musa Wagu comes in, much the same as the left. This time on the right-hand side, again offering that 15 pace, 15 acceleration, just to give us a little bit something different, the Senegalese international. Now, this is where we spent some money, guys. £7.5 million on this man, Anthony Elanga. Obviously, he got sold from Manchester United. We bought him from Bayern Leverkusen. Swedish international, 8 caps, 1 goal now, 18 pace, 17 acceleration. I think he could be a danger for a lot of teams. I don't think there's many players in the league who are as quick as that. So I think that's going to be a troublesome time for some of these other teams. I wanted to see if I could pick him up earlier in the save, but he didn't want to leave Manchester United. So is what it is. We finally got our hands on him now because he was unhappy at Bayern Leverkusen. We also signed Jonas Simonsen. He comes in for £1.6 million. He is, of course, a new gen with the thickest monobrow you've ever seen. 15 pace, high acceleration as well. Nice physically. Can play on the right, the left, and up through the middle. I'm not really sure where he's going to play a lot, but he is listed as an absolute gem. If we take a look at him properly in game, you can see he's got a 5-star potential. He's already a 3.5-star player. I think he could go on, and if you were to do this a little bit further down the line, he would go for an absolute bomb to somewhere else in Europe. Lucas Bergvall is a player we've pulled in on loan from Manchester United. They pulled the trigger on this young Swede, and they've had him out on loan for a couple years. Yokohama, why on earth he's gone there into the J League, I have no idea. But he's been loaned to us. We're paying £1.4 million to have him on loan. But Lucas Bergvall looks very, very good. He is good in this year's game. A leading player in the division, very technical as well, versatile. He's going to be playing in this central attacking midfield or central midfield role for us as well. And then a goalkeeper mishap as well, because I thought my goalkeeper was going to leave, but he didn't. So I've now got 3 goalkeepers. Florian Müller comes in to be what I thought was going to be our new goalkeeper, because our goalkeeper is wanted by all sorts of teams in England, but as of yet he hasn't actually agreed a deal to go anywhere. So now I have a goalkeeper and a potential issue where one of them is very, very annoyed, because if we go into the transfer centre, he's not even there. Yeah, he's not even there anymore. He was wanted by several teams and he hasn't gone anywhere. If I have a look at the squad, does it say that he's wanted? Yeah, he's wanted by just wanted by Roma now. So he could end up departing for Roma because he's only got a 675k release clause on him. But we'll see how we get on. We've qualified for the Swedish Cup again, guys. We bowed out of the Champions League at the knockout stages last season. We lost to Nice 4-1 in France, and then we drew 1-1 in Sweden. So relatively disappointing. Nice was actually a good team for us to play, but disappointingly it didn't happen. But hopefully we can kind of continue to win another Swedish Cup. We are in that final, as you can see there, against IS Elfsborg again. It's kind of the settler for us because they won the first one, we won the second one. Who can win the third one? We will find out. And then we've got the league campaign again. The board expectation is to win the league. And that is exactly what I'll be trying to do. If we take a look at the season preview, we are the favourites again. And there's a lot more of our players in here as well. Our goalkeepers in here. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in the Media Dream 11 now. It's kind of proving that we are the best team in Sweden. So let's simulate this 5th and final season and see what we can do in Sweden. So guys, quick transfer update because our goalkeeper did leave in the end. Christian Rivero did go to Sunderland at the end of the transfer window, kind of, so he has gone. And we also picked up this guy, Oriol Mangala, as another defensive midfielder option. He looks like a big beefcake, which I'm happy with. 15 strength on him, nice natural fitness, good balance as well. Looks like a good little central defensive midfielder. So the team was looking real strong going into this season. And you will have no surprises because we did win the league as well. 70 points for us, another nice high points total. And the Champions League campaign, we are in the knockout stages. We've only played 4 games at the moment, but it is all up for grabs. The league was a little bit patchy towards the start, but ultimately we got the job done. Simonson has gone on to be very good for us. Obviously the youngster that we did sign, he looks quite good and has developed quite nicely. 13 goals and 8 assists for him. Also massive shout out to, if I go onto the home tab, Elias Erfurt. He's been fantastic for us. 19 goals and 5 assists. He looks like a very good player, has been very good and consistent for us in the 2 years that he's been here, and might be a player that I look to sign again in the future. If we go into the schedule, you can see we did have that cup final, there it is, against IF Elfsborg, and we did win the settler. Elias Elfrot with the goal to see us lift our 3rd Swedish Cup in 5 seasons. So ultimately I think we've kind of taken this team back to the top of Swedish football. We've got Champions League games against Aston Villa and PSV Eindhoven. We could well qualify for the knockout stages of the competition, but I'm leaving it here. That could be up to you guys. I'll post this save in my Discord if you did want to continue it on, but please do let me know down in the comments who you would like to see me rebuild next. And if you do like the rebuild content, guys, check out this playlist. It's all the rebuilds that we've done on this year's game so far.